Is this the end of Soothe 2? Surprise! Waves has shocked the audio world by releasing its own Soothe 2 alternative. And guess what? It's a fraction of the price and it's packed with features. But does it hold up? Watch to find out. But first, please like, subscribe, and share, and consider joining the channel. It really helps support my channel. And use my plugin boutique affiliate link on screen or in the description below to grab this and other crazy deals. Wow, so this was unexpected. Or maybe not. Waves has been making big inroads into the spectral correction market, so this is a logical move from them. I'm not going to waste your time because I'm pretty excited about this. This thing is cheap, and you can buy it right now for only $39. No subscription needed. Okay, let's take a look. Let's insert Curves Equator on the guitar bus. God, this name bugs me. I'm just going to call it Equator from now on. And the first thing to know is that Curves Equator starts processing immediately. You don't need to hunt for resonances, it detects issues right away. And you can see that in the reduction animation at the top of the FFT analyzer up here. This is very similar to Soothe 2 and other plugins. And we can see it's reacting mostly to the mid-range, which is good. I want to make corrections in that area. These guitars are quite harsh around 3K. To increase the processing, simply lower this line with this funky main knob. This line acts like the threshold, and processing will increase as you lower it. This is similar to Smooth Operator, so users of Smooth will be familiar with this. And notice how hard I can push this without hearing artifacts. Let's bypass. Yeah, you can hear how the mid-range has come down a lot. It almost sounds like the guitars were recorded through different amps. It's so transparent. You can also adjust the sensitivity of the frequency reduction here. This basically gives the dynamic compression a harder or softer knee, so it reacts more quickly and aggressively at higher settings. I have this set about midway for a more natural sound. I'll set that back to default. We'll talk more about the advanced controls later. This is great already, but what I really want to do is get that nasty narrow 3K harshness out without changing the guitar tones too much. Well, here's another feature we all want in a spectral correction plugin. EQ nodes so we can increase or decrease the processing in specific regions. Just double-click anywhere to create an EQ node. I'm going to set this to 3K because I know from my WA Production D-Res video that the issue is exactly around 3K. And to increase processing, you pull down the node. Hold Control to adjust only the gain, leaving it exactly at 3K. Note, like Smooth Operator, lowering the EQ node increases the processing at that frequency, and raising the node decreases processing. This is the opposite of Soothe 2. There, that sounds good. Let's bypass. You hear that whistling tone disappear? Sounds great. Let's compare it to some others. Here's how I had it set up with D-Res. Okay, here's Equator. D-Res. And here's Phil Spizer's The Smoother. Here's Equator. Yeah, I think Wave sounds more natural. And here's Smooth Operator. And Equator. And here's Soothe 2. Here's Equator. I found I had to tweak Soothe 2 a little longer to get to a place that I liked, experimenting between soft and hard processing, etc. I felt like I could get there much more quickly with Waves. And I think they all sound pretty good, but this is a very simple trick. Let's see what else Curves Equator can do. This is where Curves Equator really starts to move ahead of the pack. Check this out. Curves Equator can learn your incoming signal and conform the curve threshold to a high resolution average of that signal. You just click Learn. And it even tells you exactly what it's doing and what to do. And once you have an average, you can click Apply, or you can check Auto Apply, which is great. I love that. I like it when the machines do the hard part. So now we have a threshold that conforms to our input signal. Why is this important? Because this essentially creates a custom threshold that protects our signal from processing. This is best for when you want to correct just the resonances and problem frequencies, but want to perfectly maintain the sonic imprint of your signal. You just want to leave the good sound intact. Essentially, Equator allows you to use your input signal as its own threshold. This is so cool. It reminds me of the excellent DSM-V3 multi-compressor, where you could use the input signal as a threshold to balance the spectral balance. It's the only other plugin I can think of that does this off the top of my head. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So anyway, let's listen to the difference with the captured curve. So I can go ahead and add my 3K. And here it is with full band processing. You can hear that the captured curve sounds exactly like the original, but only has the correction happening in the 3K region. Amazing. Now I hear you thinking, if we only want processing on 3K, then why am I seeing gain reduction in all the bands? Well, it's time for another magic moment from this plugin. Hit the crossover button on the right and boom, you get access to 4 bands of processing. Don't want any processing on the highs and lows? Raise the threshold bar and it's gone. You can also increase processing or move the crossovers to further narrow Equator's effect. This gives you yet another layer of control over how Equator affects the signal. It's brilliant. Now, if that's not enough, we have more tonal controls to work with. Shape takes whatever curve you have, a custom one, or default, and morphs it against Equator's factory references. Pink gives you a brighter shape. Warm will roll off highs and boost the lows for a warmer sound. And flat goes for a more even tone. Use shape if you feel like you have a good sound but feel like you want to tweak some impurities. Good for dialing in quick changes. And speaking of quick changes, tilt works like a tilt EQ and simply shifts the whole tone towards brighter or darker by cutting and boosting the processing. There's darker, and there's brighter. Again, great for quick tweaks to the sound. I think the guitar is a little too bright, so I'm going to roll off some of the highs. There, I love how this sounds. It's really cleaned up now. And you're not limited to using Curves Equator on just harsh material. You can use it to balance any track to help it stand out in the mix better. Let's try it on the bass guitar. I had trouble getting this to sit well. Sometimes it seemed too tubby, and sometimes too thin. And already it's found some mud in the low end. Perfect. Bypass. Yeah, the bass kind of fades back into the mix more. This is great because it's cutting the mud, but the auto gain is also raising the level so the brighter material comes up. Since I've got a lot of grit on this bass, and I think it's competing with the guitar, I'll slam down hard on the processing the highs and mid-highs to give the guitar some room. Yes, I think it sounds way better in this section. Previously, I had trouble picking out the individual bass notes in this section. And let's put it on the drums too, because why not? I think it could use a little cleaning up in the lows as well. Okay, so I'm going to learn the curve of the drums. Auto apply. A little less boxy. Ooh, I really like how it lowered that annoying rubbery click sound from the kick drum. I've always hated that tone in the Superior Drummer kick, and I often have to work hard to remove it. This is amazing. Oh, and how could I forget? There are advanced controls, as I mentioned earlier. So you click the Advanced Controls button and you get full control over every aspect of processing. You can change the attack and release to let more or less of the original sound through. Precision lets you control how deep and narrow versus how shallow and wide the filters are. You can see they get finer as I turn it up. This is like Sharpness in Soothe 2. Use this to focus in on areas or make the processing more broad. You can change the center point of the tilt EQ. Or you can smooth out the overall curve. This only applies to custom curve thresholds. And my god, you can switch between linked, left and right split, or mid-side processing. Wow. And look at this, you can turn auto makeup on or off. And you have a brick wall limiter just in case. Incredible. So let's listen to the mix with Equator on all three buses here. So that's guitar, drums, and bass. Oh yeah, the guitar harshness is gone and it just sounds smoother with more clarity between instruments. I love it. Yeah, the bass really stands out now. And it's not interfering with the kick drum. And if that weren't enough, time for one last crucial feature. Yes, you can sidechain tracks with Equator, much like Track Spacers, Soothe 2, or any other dynamic spectral correction plugin that allows you to duck a signal with another signal. So you can use Equator to clear up conflicts between kicks and snares, pads and vocals, but even then it's still got its own unique twist. What I can do is sidechain the kick into the baseline instance of Equator. So I turn on the sidechain with the SC button here. Lower the curve a bit. And the kick is already punchier, coming through better now. And take note, we can switch to rider mode, which makes the signal dynamically duck to the input signal. In this case, the kick, which I think is what most of us expect from this kind of trick. Sounds even better with this on. And that's all we have to do. I could use the EQ to restrict the processing to just the low end for a tighter performance, but Equator has another card up its sleeve. So with the Learn feature, you can learn the sidechain input spectra, and Equator will apply a custom inverse curve to the source track for even more separation and clarity. It'll just subtract the frequencies that you need to get a good duck. Check it out. So right now it's learning the kick drum. So there you go. We're now ducking exactly the frequencies that we need to make it sound good. A little too much. Now Equator has shaped the curve thresholds to maximize the processing in the conflicting region. And from here, you can tailor the ducking to perfection by increasing the sensitivity or making it more precise. Astounding. Here's Soothe 2 doing the same thing. The kick is sidechained into the synth bass. And here's Equator. Soothe. Equator. For me, I find Waves Equator to sound a little more natural. Keep in mind Equator can learn and tailor its response to your incoming signal. Soothe can't do that. And don't forget to use Equator on your full mixes. This mix is still a little muddy overall. To see how easy it is to improve the sound of a mix with Equator, we can even grab one of the logically named presets. Ooh, and this already sounds better. The mid-side processing is even widening the mix a bit. Maybe a tad bright. I can use shape or tilt to roll off some highs. There, a clearer mix in seconds. Amazing. Guys, this plugin has everything. It takes all the best things from other plugins and brings them all together. This is the Voltron of spectral correction plugins, and all this for $39 on sale right now. I declare Soothe 2 dead. Curves Equator does everything Soothe 2 can do and more, and it's better than all the rest. I'm struggling to think of any other harshness corrector that comes close to this level of features and quality. I'm officially recommending this as the resonance suppression and frequency unmasking tool to get. Like, run out and get this right now, especially while it's on sale for $39. Waves has ushered in a new way to think about processing our audio, and I, for one, say bravo. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. I love hearing from you. Consider joining the channel to support me and use my affiliate links to support the channel as well. Until next time, mix well.